Hi everyone, this is Tisch Aitken, and this is just a quick weekly update about what we're all experiencing at the moment. I did do a weekly video earlier in the week talking about the fact that we are now very much in eclipse season. We already experienced the total lunar eclipse on May 26th, and that is when the Earth is situated between the sun and the moon and cuts off the sun's light. And it always occurs full moon, and in this case the nodes of fate were within 5 degrees of the moon. So a very powerful full moon eclipse in the mutable fire sign of Sagittarius. So a lot of stuff going on. There is so much mutability right now in the cosmos going on, transiting for all of us. And we've got, now we've got 3 points transiting in Gemini, but we're building up to a solar eclipse that takes place on June 10th. And that solar eclipse is going to be at 19 degrees and 47 minutes of the mutable air sign of Gemini. And this new moon eclipse is going to tell us a lot of tales. It already has been. We've got 3 points in Gemini. We've got Mercury, which stationed retrograde on May 30th at, let's see, actually May 29th, sorry, at 24 degrees and 43 minutes of the mutable air sign of Gemini. Mercury rules Gemini, and it's in its dignity, but it can be very tricky in Gemini. It also can be good getting a lot accomplished with paperwork and research and teaching and learning and doing all forms of communication. But when it's retrograde, you're reassessing many different things. It's excellent time for getting organized. If you're brushing up on skills you need to improve for your job or some other area of your life, this is an excellent opportunity to do so. Many people or situations can come back from our past. Maybe we hear from them, maybe we think of them, maybe something that resolved comes to completion during the retrograde. It's a good time to really reassess what is coming up. I would say now that Jupiter is in Pisces, Jupiter expands whatever it comes into contact with, and it rules Pisces in ancient astrology. So we've got Jupiter in a mutable water sign, more fluid energy going in many different directions. It is beautiful. It is compassionate. But many have said, and I agree at times, this has happened to me, you can feel where it's hard to focus. It can be more emotional than logical. And often when you're tapping into that part of your brain, to the creative or the spiritual part, it's about suspending disbelief about the practical, like you learned in literature in high school. It's about suspending disbelief and going with the flow, and sometimes not thinking in so much of a linear way, but more in terms of the wonder of what you can achieve through your imagination and through your dreams. And sometimes, I'm not saying to be impractical and to go for things that are really not in your interest, but work hard. This is such a time for all of us to learn in the new age of Aquarius. And we're really going to be in this time until March of 2023, when Saturn exits the sign of Aquarius for good. With that, we are dealing with a time of inventiveness. Many people are reinventing themselves right now, not only through upgrading their skills with technology and learning and networking, but many people are taking new journeys in their lives. They're either adopting a whole new lifestyle. Maybe they're moving from an urban area to the suburbs. Maybe they're getting into a completely different type of line of work. Maybe they're deciding to become single. Maybe they're getting in commitments and trying to be in a relationship. But many people are in various ways reinventing themselves. I think many of us are trying to seek connection, hopefully. Now, this time right now, there are many messages coming in many different ways. Again, Jupiter in the sign of Pisces. Neptune and Jupiter are key players this month because the lunar eclipse that took place on May 26th squared Jupiter, which is currently in the sign of Pisces until July 29th. And that expands the creativity and expansiveness in many ways because Jupiter is the grand benefic. It also expands the confusion or the heavy emotional tone that many people are feeling. And it's a release because it was a south node eclipse. Now we're building up to a new moon eclipse, but it squares Neptune, which is transiting in the mutable water sign of Pisces. Both Jupiter and Neptune station retrograde in the month of June. Jupiter does so on the summer solstice, which is on June 20th. Neptune does so on June 25th at 23 degrees of the mutable sign of Pisces. Jupiter will be expanding, it is expanding. It will be retrograding at 2 degrees of the mutable water sign of Pisces. Pay attention to where Pisces is in your chart. There are many services online, Cafe Astrology, astrology.com. There are many different ones to find your chart if you want to look at it. If you know your birthday and time of birth, see where Pisces is. It's an early area of Pisces, 2 degrees. And it's retrograding, it's re-entering the late degrees of Aquarius. In October, it will station direct at 22 degrees of Aquarius. So we're working with between 2 degrees of Pisces and 22 degrees of Aquarius, and a lot of expansion through the arts and love and compassion in Pisces, and community, technology, brilliance, and innovation in Aquarius. We're expanding the emotions and the tears that all of us are feeling in different ways with the pain we've experienced. We're expanding the chaos and upheaval we've all experienced in this new time. So hectic time. Eclipses always are a very pressured and frenzied time, and you've got so much mutability, which means things can go in many different directions. But the good part of that is there are options and choices. Gemini is a sign of duality. There could be more than one option or solution to something you're experiencing. And with the new moon eclipse, with Mercury so closely linked, it meets up with the sun on the day of the eclipse at 9:13 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And the eclipse itself will be in the morning. The moon will meet up with Mercury at 8:37 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, giving more information how we process. And so this is a very big deal. So let's see what happens. We've got the sun squaring Neptune on the following day. That's also big stuff. Let's see what it is for you. What do you want to manifest and create? Know that things could seem surreal at times, a lot of time. They can feel magical. You might have some very big, amazing opportunities coming in. Seize it. It's a time of new beginnings and major moves, major change, but maybe there are delays. Maybe there's a little miscommunication with Mercury retrograde, or maybe it's a great opportunity, but you're waiting a little bit, or you have to revise a few parts of it. Go with the flow. Jupiter loves being in Pisces. It really helps to expand through the imagination. Do manifesting work. Do the law of abundance on the new moon eclipse and write down your intentions. And if possible, go to the ocean or to a lake or to water nearby to really cleanse and really tap into what you want to create, because this new moon is squaring Neptune, and again, Neptune and Jupiter are both retrograding at the end of June. And I wish you a lot of luck with everything. All of the monthly horoscopes are uploaded. Check out your sun sign and your rising sign. And thank you for subscribing and sharing. It helps a lot. And take care.